Hey everyone, hopefully you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel's Finding Value. If you guys are looking for undervalued investment opportunities, click subscribe, join the channel. And again, keep leaving comments. I like reading the comments, and I'm going to answer your guys' comments and questions through some videos so everybody gets to get at least my opinion on it. Again, this is just my opinion. It doesn't mean that I'm 100% right, but I'm giving you my opinion on the markets or the questions that you guys are asking. So the question is, the court orders Royal Dutch Shell by means of corporate policy to reduce its CO2 emissions by 45% by 2030. This person states this almost guarantees a boom in fossil energy price and metals price. So what countries are doing is, and I've seen some articles on this too, they're literally trying to force people to stop investments from going into fossil fuels. The problem here is, we don't have a valid substitute. Renewables are not a valid substitute at this time. We don't have energy storage for massive amounts of electricity generation. We store, so the way that this works is we have a power grid. We've got power plants that generate power, and usually they store the power generation, the fuel. They store it in natural gas, they store it in oil, they store it in uranium, they store it in like physical holdings of it because it's really cheap to store oil. It's really cheap to store natural gas. It's really cheap to store uranium. It's super cheap and it's very easy. You pull it out, you refine it, and you store it in a barrel. It's easy as heck. Or you store it in a tanker, or you store it in a semi-truck. Now, electricity, we don't really store electricity very much. We do it for like components. Like I've got a cell phone here. We store it in a battery, here in a cell phone. We store it in small like laptop computers. We store it in electric vehicles. Now, we don't store large scale amounts of electricity. We don't know how to do it very well. We don't have a solution for it yet. And if governments are kind of almost mandating or wanting to push the markets into this emission-free area or investment area. And it's drawing investments from fossil fuels. The problem is fossil fuels, like we developed this entire world based off of fossil fuels. We know they work. They are super cheap, et cetera, et cetera. Everything is based off of it. Now, if we go to this new renewable world where we're running wind turbines and solar panels and whatever else they want to throw in there, we don't know how to store the electricity. So we have literally 0 months of safety net. It's like they produce and then we don't know what to do with it. So with oil and natural gas and coal and all these other things, we can have 3 months worth of inventory where we can go 3 months without having new sources come to that power plant. So you can run it and run it and run it, and it's continuous. With electricity, we don't have enough batteries to store anything. So what they're doing is they're taking the reliable source, they're cutting all of the funding and investments into those easy to store energy sources, and they're going to say, you're going to go with renewables, but we don't have the solutions to make the renewables work. Also, renewables are way more costly than the fossil fuel alternatives. Way more costly. Now, someone could argue, what are the costs to the environment of fossil fuels? I don't know if we have that answer. I don't know if we have it. And I can tell you this, the costs to humans, if they get this wrong, could be massive. It could result in a lot of deaths of human beings if this transition doesn't work. And it's going to cost a lot of money if they get this wrong for all those fossil fuel type fuels. If we stop investment going to it, if we stop pipelines, if we stop all these things. So I don't have an answer here for you. If renewables were superior, we'd already have them. That is what I would tell you. And since they are inferior, we are going backwards by going to renewable energy because they are inferior, they cost more money, and they're more difficult. There are, whatever the reasons are, I don't even care what the reasons are. The reason they aren't in the front show making money right now is because they cost way too much. They are not a viable alternative. And they're trying to force this. When you try to force something, that's when I get nervous, because the market's going to do whatever is beneficial to the end consumers. The consumers are going to eat it in the end of this if they force all of this to happen. Go look at all the countries that have a lot of renewable energy. Some of them have problems. Some states have problems, like California. Look at their energy costs. They usually have higher costs. Perhaps that will come down with time, but I don't know why the free market just won't, why they don't want this free market to let it work. I don't know why. Now, when you talk about electric vehicles, when you talk about internal combustion ICE vehicles, internal combustion engine vehicles, if I'm looking at this as a consumer, and you look at how little charging stations there are, you look at the cost to put charging in your house, then you look at the potential inconvenience, so to speak, of going to these charging stations. I can't charge it at my work. They don't have anything to charge with. I don't know who the heck would buy an electric vehicle right now. Now, I know some people can do it. They maybe they're in a better area that's supported a little bit better for electric vehicles, but a lot of areas, it's not there. Like it's, I don't want to go wait an hour to go charge my vehicle. That's ridiculous. I'd rather just buy a used car for $4,000 or $3,000 and go fill it up with gas. Even if it's $4 or $5 a gallon, I'm not going to sit there and charge my car every couple of days for an hour somewhere and have to wait for, if this becomes popular, then the charging stations become a limiting factor. And I'm probably not going to spend thousands and thousands of dollars to rewire my house to charge electric vehicles. And if I can't charge it at work, guys, this is a big, very large purchase. And I don't purchase things for $40,000 or even $30,000. I buy used stuff. In fact, I don't even know if I've spent $50,000 or $60,000 on stuff outside of my house in my entire life. I know that sounds incredibly weird. I'm an incredibly efficient person. I don't buy. So this is a phone. This is a work phone. I didn't buy this. So that's free. I don't pay. That's my only phone that I have, because if they want me to have that phone and they want me to carry it all around all the time, well, that's the only phone I'm going to have. I bought used cars. I did buy one new car. It was $7,500. $7,500. It's a Chevy Aveo. I bought a television way back. It was $600. I bought two other used televisions. One was $100. One was $200. I have a couple of cars. I bought a car that had a bad engine in it. It was $1,500. I put a new engine in it. That car probably cost me $4,000 in total. I bought a RX-7, FD RX-7. I bought it for about $10,000 at the lows of the market. I put some effort in fixing into that car. It's probably $45,000 now. It's a very nice one. So I'm actually making money on that one. So if you actually add up what I've spent in my life, I bought some softball bats. I bought some hockey skates. You start adding this all up, I don't know if I've spent $60,000 in my entire life. I know, it seems weird. I've spent stuff on experiences. I've probably spent more, on living expenses and stuff like that. But what I'm saying is, for actual buying cars, buying things in my life, electronics, I don't buy much electronics. I don't buy much things. I've got a laptop here. I've had 3 laptops in my life that I've purchased. Only 3. You start adding all this up, I haven't spent $60,000 probably in my life on items. I'm really cheap. I buy everything used. I buy everything. I buy socks from the dollar store. I bought 36 socks. 36 socks or so. It was like $20 or something. It was 2 pairs for $1. 2 pairs for $1, whatever that is. So, I buy shoes off of eBay. They're like $15 a pair, $20 a pair. People who wore them like once, and they're like, here you go. And they're like brand new shoes. You get them for $15. So I have like 5 or 6 pairs of $15 shoes. They're Converse shoes. They're the only shoes I like because they're flat. You can heel toe downshift in cars very well with them. I buy everything I've bought. And when I look, some people say that they want to buy these expensive, they want to buy these expensive washer and dryer and all this stuff. I bought my washer and dryer for $100 used. And it's been working for years. It's the good one too. It's the Whirlpool direct thing going through. I can even fix it myself. I just recently had the starter go out. I fixed the starter myself. It was a little over $100 for a Honda Civic starter. So honestly, I don't spend hardly any money. It all goes to investments. And when you get good at this stuff, when you get really good at investing, you're gonna just pile your money into it. Because why would I spend $1,000 today if I could have $20,000 in return 10 years from now? Why would I do that? So an electric car is it's not even in my thoughts. It's super inconvenient. Two, I'm not going to spend the money to rewire the house because that's even increased risk of rewiring stuff, of things going wrong. It's more cost that I don't need. And I'd rather run a internal combustion engine car that's super convenient and easy and that I know how to fix. Very easy. Now, I know the maintenance costs on electric vehicles are low, but guess what? You're going to have to replace those batteries at some point. I haven't replaced the engine in any of my cars, except for one of them that I bought that was bad, from ever. And those are 2004. That's been 16 years. Why would I want to buy a car where you have to replace the batteries every 7 or 8 years? Why would anyone do that? And it's a very expensive cost. I don't know. So that's my viewpoint. I haven't even spent as much money in my entire life as a Tesla costs new. That is ridiculous. You think I'm going to buy a Tesla? No, I'm not going to buy a Tesla. Here's another one. Andy, hypothetically speaking, if there is to be a commodity boom, say over the next 10 years, how much return could one possibly, and very generally anticipate? I'm speaking very generally here, and know that it will vary according to sector, specific stock, etc. For example, if one were to invest $500 in baseload at today's price of approximately 54 cents, so this is a difficult one to answer. And you know what? I'll do another video since this one's getting kind of long. I'll do a video on that question right there. You'll see it right after this one. If you guys like this content, give me a thumbs up. Thanks for listening. This is Finding Value.